Okay, what I'm going to do is first show you how you can quickly add in what's called a picture-in-picture effect. And that's when you have one video track playing down below, like I have here of some friends kayaking, and I'm just going to place another video playing over top of it. So you have a picture playing in another picture. And what I'll do is I'm just going to actually use the same video and take a different portion of it. So I've double-clicked on that video. I've set an in point for where I want to start from. So I'm going to take this little selection here, set it in, go to, I'm not going to be too fussy about what I'm doing here right now, so I'll set an out point, and then what I'm going to be able to do is just take that video and drag it onto a video track above video track 1. And so now I've added that in. I'll get rid of this so we can see a little better. I'll just move this up so we can see better the video tracks here. One of the things when I'm working on multiple video tracks like this, and if you've worked in Photoshop, this will remind you of working in layers. And one of the things I find a little bit annoying with Premiere is the way they have these audio tracks in the way. So what I can do is I can just right click on that audio track and just go down and unselect or uncheck where it says show audio tracks. And what that does is it just temporarily hides those audio tracks so that now I can just stack my video tracks one above another. And that makes it a lot easier when I'm working with multiple video tracks like this. So now I'm just going to open up, bring my window back here a little so we can, my viewing window, so we can see that. And scrub this up a little so we can hopefully see these two tracks at the same time. Okay, so now we can see track 1 down here and track 2. And you notice that as soon as I move the timeline indicator, as soon as it hits track 2, or video track 2, the video that I put in there is covering up way too much of the video below it. So what I need to do is resize this video on video track 2. So I select it by just clicking on it, and then what I want to do is I want to make it a little smaller. So there's a couple ways I can do it. One of them is I can just go to the viewing pane here, and I'm just going to click on that video, and all I have to do is just, you can see, is put the little box around it, and now I can just drag in like this. It's resized that video for me, and I can move it around now and place it wherever I want it to play above the video on video track 1. So now if I take my timeline marker and I just scrub it along, you can see that the video above, I'll just play this here, is going to play on top of the video below. And if I don't like where it is, I can easily just move that to a different location. So maybe I'm going to move it down here for now. And again, I can just scrub it along, see how that's going to play there. And you might notice, depending on the power of your computer, that it doesn't seem to play very smoothly. So one thing that you can do whenever you're adding multiple effects or stacking tracks on top of one another, until the video has been either exported as a final video or it's been rendered and sort of put together, the program, Premiere, is relying on the processing power of your computer then to sort of put the rough version together for you. So this computer isn't the best, so what I'm going to do, if I want to see how that's really going to look, I can take these markers here, which is going to show how much of the project I want to render. I'm going to move that to that end. I just want to render just the part that I've changed here so that it's going to show a little bit more smoothly for me. And you can see this red bar up right here always tells me that it has not been rendered yet. So then I can go to timeline and render work area. And I've changed that work area so that it's just going to be that smaller bit rather than the whole video. And I'm just going to pause a bit until it finishes here. Okay, now that it has finished rendering, you can see that work area has now gone green, and when I go to play it now, it's going to play much more smoothly, and I'll get a more realistic view of what it's actually going to look like. Okay, so if I'm happy with that, then away I go and I continue working on my video, but maybe I want to frame this particular, the second video, the one that's on video track 2. So in order to do that, one of the things I can do is I've already imported just a clip art of a wooden frame. So I'm going to take that, and again I'm going to add that now to video track 3, and I'm going to extend it so that it covers the full duration of the second clip down below it. And you can see if I just take the timeline indicator and scrub along, you know, now the frame is going to be there, but it's obviously not in the location that we want it to be. So once again, I'm going to make sure that I'm selected video track 3, and I'm just going to click on the frame, and I'm just going to roughly resize it right now and move it to where I want it to be over top of the kayaking video. Now the problem right now is that this image of the picture frame isn't going to quite fit in with the video down below. It doesn't cover it perfectly. So what I can do is again make sure that I've selected that picture frame. I'm going to then go to the properties area right here. So this is going to give me the properties that I can change for that picture frame. I'm going to go to where it says motion, and I'm going to open that up by clicking on that little triangle. And I'm just going to go, this is the other way that I can be changing the size of any video or image in there, is by just moving this scale indicator here. And what I'm going to probably have to do is see where it says constrain proportions. What that means is anytime that I change the length, the width is going to change with it proportionately. So the ratio of the length to the width is always staying the same. But in this case, I might not want that to happen, because I want to take this picture frame, which wasn't made for the video track, and I want it to fit better over top of this video track. So I'm going to unconstrain those proportions by unchecking that. So now when I change the width, you can see the height's not changing at all. So I can move this, I can get it much more exact in how I want it to be. And you notice down here again below, that's gone, because I've made changes to these tracks, it's no longer rendered. So I can get a rough idea what it's going to look like by just scrubbing through it or playing it. And that's going to give me a good indication of how that's going to look there. Again, once again, if I really wanted a better view of how that's going to look, what I would have to do is go up to timeline, and I would render that work area to see how it looks. And then I play it back and see how it looks to me, and if I'm happy with it, away I go. The other thing that I might want to do is maybe I want to edit that clip. So maybe just like any other video track you're doing, you want to say, okay, I want it to stop here and I want to add in something else to this clip. So that's really easy to do. Once again, I'm going to go back to my project. I'm going to open up the video. I'm going to move my timeline indicator to another portion. So maybe I want to get from here. I'll set an in point, move it along, get an out point, and I'm just going to take that video and move it down to video track 2 again, and get rid of that. And you'll see what's going to happen when I move my timeline indicator and it leaves that first video clip that's on video track 2 here, and it moves into the next clip. Same problem that I had before. It's taking over top. It's now going right over top of the entire video on video track 1. So I need to resize it just like before. However, this time I want it to be resized exactly. So for example, I don't want to just randomly resize it, like make it smaller like before, because what's going to happen is as I move my timeline indicator along here, all of a sudden, oops, now it flips, it's in a different spot, it's a different size, and that's not good. So what I want to do, and I'm just going to give you a better look down here, I'm going to select that first clip down here. I'm going to go to the properties for that clip, like before, and we'll just have to move this so we can see the properties better. I'm going to go to open up motion again, and it's going to tell me what's the position and what's the size of that original video. So you can see right here that tells me that the position of the video is 545.8 And these are just like X and Y axis. So it tells me exactly where that video is, and this is going to tell me the scale, the size of it. It's 37.7%. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to, just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to make this just a little bit easier. I'm just going to change that to 545. I'm going to change this to 360. You don't have to change any of this. This is just making it easier for me to remember for right now. And I'll change that to 37%. So I know I've got 545, 336, and 37. So now I can select that second clip here, go to the properties for it, go into this properties marker, open up the motion, and now I can just type in 545, 336, and the size was 37%. So now those two videos are in the exact same location and the exact same size. The only problem is that once I move from the first clip to the second clip, you can see that the picture frame has disappeared, and that's super simple to fix. All I have to do is just extend the time that it's going to play to the end of this second clip here. And now when I move from the first clip to the second clip, there it goes. It just moves straight into it. The picture frame is right there. I could add transitions in, anything that I would normally, anything that I'd want to do on this video track 2 here, I can do in terms of my video. And in this instance, I've done another video in here, but this could have easily have been text. It could easily have been a series of images, anything that you would want it to be. So what we're going to do next, in the next tutorial, I'm going to take these same principles, the same basic thing that we've done here, and show you how you could take those same ideas and then create a split screen from that.